You see him use that smoke?
Cormac took from his pocket the smoke capsules Batman had given him.
Yeah. That what those are?
Take them. Just throw them at something hard enough, like the heads of those militia pea-brains. A rock nearby. Then I'll step up and take care of them. And you get a couple of axe handles. You got it?
I got it, Dad.
Here they come. You ready, Bill?
Ready to make these son bitches pay for my eye, just for starts.
Grenoble peered through a gap in the wooden wall with his remaining eye. Harold was sitting with his back to the wooden palisade, hugging himself. Cormac could see he wasn't going to be of much use. The guy's mind had snapped. Cormac couldn't blame him.
Take your position, Gary.
Cormac hoped he had planned this right. He needed to buy Batman some time. Gary ran down through the dirt paths and felt a chill seeing a line of big men with axe handles in their hands coming up at him from 40 feet away. He darted to the right and pressed himself to a low boulder. Heart pounding, he waited till he heard the foremost thug come up close. He threw the first smoke capsule at the opposite boulder so it would strike near the man's face. It exploded into a gratifying outburst of smoke, about 10 feet across. Cormac stepped up with the shotgun to the opening between boulders and aimed point blank into the smoke cloud. He heard Grenoble fire from up above. Cormac turned to fire at two men coming from his left. Holding his breath, Gary darted into the smoke. He found a man crawling on the ground, oozing blood beside a fallen axe handle. Gary snatched the handle up, in time to swing it at the head of another man just hunching up the path. The guy went down, his axe handle clattering to the ground, and Gary, eyes burning from the smoke, grabbed it up and ran back to his dad.
Hold your fire, Dad!
A hand grabbed Gary's arm and jerked him out of the smoke cloud. It was his father, smiling, though his eyes were worried, as he pulled his son behind him.
Good job, son.
I cracked one on the head. Got two axe handles.
He put one down and wielded the other like a bat as his lungs and eyes cleared.
Here come two more of them.
Gary found the other smoke capsule in his coat and threw it immediately. His father stepped into the opening.
You got him!
Gary was sickened and thrilled at the same time. Then he turned to see Harold clawing at a big bald man with a swastika tattooed into the side of his head. Harold was clinging to the man, biting at his nose. The man was hammering the axe handle across Harold's back. Gary turned to his dad and saw him firing in the opposite direction at oncoming men. Gary had to deal with this himself. He hefted the axe handle, his mouth dry, his senses sickeningly sharp, his stomach clutching up, and he ran at the big man, who was now standing over Harold, crushing his neck with his boot. Swastika Head looked up in time to see Gary swinging the axe handle, but not in time to block it. Swastika Head staggered back, but didn't go down, though blood gushed from the wound. The man raised his axe handle. Gary doubted he could block it. The guy looked too strong. Then the man's axe handle exploded. Gary's dad had shot it away, having to fire high to make sure he didn't hit his son. The big militia thug blinked at the stub in his hand, giving Gary the chance to run forward and smash him across the top of the head. This time, he went down. Gary glanced at Harold and quickly looked away. Harold's neck was broken. At least he went down fighting.
Good job, son. Way to stay on top of it. Come on.
Gary ran to Cormac's side and was immediately forced to throw his axe handle at a man coming at his dad from behind. He turned to grab the other one he picked up, while Cormac fired his last round at another thug. Then turned the shotgun around and began to use it as a club. But there were too many of them, coming from all sides. Gary knew they'd quickly be overwhelmed. Grenoble had run down to stand with them, but he was out of bullets. The militia thugs moved in, grinning. And a black thunderbolt fell from the sky. Cape streaming, Batman leapt from the top of a nearby boulder, his boots connecting with two of the racist thugs. He used the impact like a springboard to leap up, flip in the air, and come down again between two others. Then he went to work. Cormac and Gary stared, open-mouthed.
Jesus.
Batman picked up one thug like he was a kid and threw him at 5 other men down the hill. All of them went down. And the others, seeing bleeding bodies and men with guns at the top of the hill, not knowing that they were out of ammunition, and seeing the Batman going through men like a scythe through weeds, did the sensible thing.
Yeah!
Gary jumped up and down, his hand clasping his father's arm.
Gary!
Beth ran up to Gary, looking both hopeful and scared.
Cobardes! Cowards! Running like rabbits! Go back! Go back and kill them! You outnumber them, you fools!
Batman stepped over fallen men, stopping now and then to affix disposable handcuffs to their wrists, and came to Cormac at the foot of the palisade. Gary turned to look at Harold.
I was too slow. I couldn't save him.
Cormac put his hands on Gary's shoulders.
You did way more than almost anyone would do. You did great, son. Whatever happens, I'm proud as hell of you.
Son and father looked at each other, and the barrier almost fell. But there was one thing more. Cormac could see it. Something his son wanted to tell him. Batman was staring up at the cliff behind them.
Look, you see that notch? Beyond it? What is it?
Grenoble leaned wearily against a rock.
The shape of it. A landmark I picked out earlier.
He looked toward the big group of men reassembling at the bottom of the hill.
There's too many of them. They'll work themselves up to charging again.
Dad, look!
Gary ran over to the body of the man he'd struck down, next to Harold, and grabbed a big pistol from the back of the man's belt.
Huh. You disobeyed orders. Brought along a pistol.
Grenoble took it from him.
Good job, kid. This'll slow him down. Use it judiciously.
Batman regretted not finding a way to stop the killing that had already happened, but that was the way things had been working out. Death followed him like the streaming of his cape.
I thought they'd nailed you with those remote-firing machine guns. It took me some time. I had to get this loose afterward.
He took his grappler from his belt, telescoped it out, and made an adjustment.
I'm going to have to leave you for a while. You'll have to hold them off. Just on the other side of that cliff, there's a hillside. I have to get there.
Wait!
But Batman had already slipped away between the boulders.
He's gone. Just gone. I never thought that he'd just abandon us.
Beth moved to stand close to Gary.
We'll have to do the best we can without him, because here they come again.
Up the hill! Kill them now! They have no more ammunition! There are many of you!
Batman was climbing the rocks under the notch he'd seen in the cliff. An ordinary man probably wouldn't have gotten this far up. The handholds were shallow and hard to see. But Batman was nothing if not a climber. He got 40 feet up, but the notch was a good distance more, the very end of the range of his grappler. The rock angled outward over him at this point. It was impossible to continue. He didn't have the proper climbing tools with him. But there was a way, if he was fast and precise enough. He let go of his hold and threw himself outward from the cliff. The grappler caught. He held on tight, still pitching backward, plummeting, and triggered the grappler. And his descent stopped. He was swung first against the cliff, catching himself against it with his boots, then pulled upward by the grappler. It was pulling him slowly, however. As he realized the device was running out of power, he ruefully remembered Beth's earlier question.
Should have stopped for a battery at Home Depot.
That's it, compadres! Up the hill! Attack! Beat them to death! But save the big black one for the noose!
Batman felt a twinge of regret at leaving the others, but it would have been an exercise in futility to stay, and he was pretty sure Cormac could handle it for a while. He had determined that Cormac Sullivan shouldn't be underestimated. Judging by the sound, that was the same gun the boy had found. Grenoble had picked off a couple of them. With luck, that would hold them. The cable towed him slowly up, and then stopped. It had run out of power. No use complaining to the manufacturer. He went hand over hand up the cable as fast as he could. Arms aching, he got to the notch, pulled himself up, and sprinted along the top of the cliff to the hillside beyond it, below a spur of rock that cast a shadow over a clear cut.
Why are you hesitating? They have 1 or 2 bullets! You are many! Kill them!
I wish I could shoot that bastard out of his little erector set, but he's got some kind of thick plastic in front of it. Looks like what they use at banks that have been robbed once too often.
No way he's gonna put himself up there without that stuff being bulletproof.
Cormac shielded his eyes against the sun breaking through the clouds and gazed over the top of a low boulder below the palisade. A group of the men were sprinting, zigzagging to make poor targets toward the open gate.
Oh, shit. They've got guns out there.
Yeah, that's what I think too. They're gonna get their weapons and to hell with Esperanza.
Well, it'll take them some time.
Those others are starting up here again.
About 60 men had fanned out around the front and sides of the hill. The back was too sheer to climb, or to escape from without breaking your legs.
That's it, my compadres!
Grenoble prepared to fire his weapon. Just 7 rounds left. He set himself to aim across the top of a boulder and angled the muzzle to point down the hill.
Hold on, Bill. You men had better think before you go any further with this! Federal agents are on their way here! You saw the Batman taking your people out! He's alerted the FBI and the ATF!
The militiamen did seem to falter at that, looking at one another.
Where's your leader? Where is he? Why isn't he here leading you? He's split on you, that's why. He left you to face the Fed!
Do not listen to the mudblood child of Cain! Beat them to death with joy! Each blow injures the Antichrist!
Sounds like he believes that crap.
He does. That's why he's still hanging around here.
2 kinds of people believe that stuff. People stupid enough, and people crazy enough. He's crazy enough.
Some of you are gonna die before you take us out. Those of you who don't die are gonna be prosecuted. I ask you again, where's your man, White Eyes?
White Eyes is in the compound seeing to the great project! Up the hill, or I will report you all to him as cowards!
Still they milled uncertainly, till 6 men emerged from the gate in the wall, sunlight flashing off the auto shotguns and machine guns in their hands.
Get down!
Cormac pulled Gary and Beth under cover.
God damn it, I'm too damn old for this!
Yeah, me too. But then, I was never the right age for this.
Okay, my brother man. I'm the government representative here, and I'm taking charge. Get those kids up behind the wall. I'll come when I'm ready.
Cormac nodded and signaled to Gary and Beth, cowering a few yards away. There was just enough cover to get them there behind the palisade, all 3 of them almost crawling. And then Cormac turned to look through a hole cut in the wall and saw that Grenoble had stayed below. He was firing back at the onrushing gunmen, trying to draw fire away from the teenagers. The guy had guts. Return fire from the militia made Grenoble duck back down. A withering hail of bullets chipped away at the top of the boulders, ricocheted between them, chewed at the wood of the palisade. The brethren began to move up the hillside. Gary took Beth's hand in his free hand. His other held an axe handle. Cormac felt even prouder of the boy then. He was taking time out to comfort someone in need, but still ready to fight. The boy had become a man. Bullets hailed again into the palisade, in such numbers that sections of wall crumbled apart, falling beside them. Was Grenoble still alive? Then they heard his answering gunfire. He was hanging in there, but Cormac knew that the little cover Grenoble had wouldn't last long. The centrifugal weapons and the auto shotguns would saturate his position. He'd be dead in under a minute. How would Cormac end his life and his son's life? Ask the boy to charge them with him? At least they'd go down fighting side by side.
Gary, listen.
Then, a shadow fell over them. Cormac glanced up and saw a flying vehicle about the size of a fighter jet but shaped like a triangle, flat and black. Alien spacecraft came to mind. Then he saw the jet engines tilted downward, mobile engines like in a Harrier jump jet, and he made out the subtle scalloping of the rear fins.
It's Batman!
The Batplane was angling down toward the men on the hill, about 60 feet up. Its down-angled jet engines aimed at the Brethren like flamethrowers from the sky, but still high enough that they felt only the fringes of that heat. The militia thugs fired at the Batplane, and the bullets bounced harmlessly off its armor. Again, it lowered threateningly, like a man holding a big clothes iron in his hand, about to slam it down on a cluster of cockroaches. The Brethren got the message.
No, turn back, cowards! It wouldn't even burn the few of you! The others can still kill them!
Batman banked the plane over, the jets tilting up more horizontally, and flew it suddenly right at the metal tower, only angling away at the last second, so that his starboard wings slashed at the underpinnings of the structure. The tower fell, crashing down with Esperanza in it. Cormac felt confident that the man was still alive, though. He'd be protected by the plastic shielding around his platform. The Batplane continued over the wall, chivying the militiamen back toward the compound, literally hurting them there. Gary and Beth started down the hill, joining Grenoble. Feeling a bit dizzy, Cormac lurched after them. Grenoble led the others down the hill toward the open gate. Gary and Beth started trotting when they got to the floor of the valley, Cormac and Grenoble having to hurry to keep up, following in the tracks of the retreating men. Though none of them spoke of it, they were all afraid that mines would somehow be triggered, afraid that the metal gate would close. But they passed through it without incident. They were just outside the gate when they saw the National Guard choppers arriving, 3 of them, roaring over the top of the bluff.
Is that really the cops?
ATF. Looks like they got the National Guard helping out.
A few minutes sooner, and Harold would still be alive.
The dull letdown after a peak of excitement was showing in Gary's face, almost like crashing from drugs. Cormac was going to have to keep a close eye on Gary for a long time. Grenoble stalked over to the fallen observation tower, where he found Esperanza crawling from the wreckage. He grabbed the Argentine by the collar, dragged him to his feet, decided he was more or less intact, and frog-walked him back to the others.
All of you. You shall all.
Shut up! Or I'll kill you with my bare hands.
Esperanza fell silent. Grenoble used Esperanza's belt as improvised cuffs, binding his hands behind him, and they marched him toward the compound. Batman was hovering his plane over the bluff above the compound, watching as the gunships closed in on the men clustered inside the fences, hemming them in from the air. One group of militiamen fired a centrifugal gun at a chopper, and within seconds the fire was returned with an air-to-surface missile. A smoking crater remained where 5 men had stood before. Even the centrifugal guns were no match for choppers with missiles. The remaining brethren threw down their weapons and surrendered.
You and the unmarked jet. Land immediately or we'll open fire.
Batman was pretty sure he could outrun their missiles, probably even survive a direct hit with his jet's armor, but he needed to get into the compound. He had to know for sure.
I'm bringing it down, just outside that broken gate.
He had no wish to tangle with the authorities, but he needed to look around in the lodge, try to find White Eyes, or get a clue as to where he'd gone. And with any luck, Gordon would be there to run interference for him.
Gordon, you have no authority here. This man is my prisoner.
Rance Gilman, the ATF regional administrator, was a red-faced man with thick white hair, styled like a televangelist, yellow-tinted aviator sunglasses, and a beige Brooks Brothers suit with matching overcoat.
You are not only out of your jurisdiction, Gordon, you are out of your home state.
Batman is wanted for questioning in Gotham City. I wish to take him back to Gotham. For questioning.
He turned to Batman.
Do you surrender to me?
Yes, I surrender to you, Gordon.
It doesn't work that way. You've got to put in the paperwork and ask for him to be transferred to your custody. Meanwhile, that mask comes off, the cuffs go on, and he goes to jail.
Batman had palmed another smoke capsule from his utility belt. You'd have to throw it and run, knocking a couple of cops over as he went. He was only 20 steps from the Batplane. He hated to do it this way, and someone could get shot in the crossfire. Come to think of it, he could get shot in the crossfire. And there were other people around to complicate things. National Guardsmen with M16 stood sentry over dozens of militia with wrists cuffed behind them, sitting in the mud, miserably waiting for the prisoner transport buses. There were 3 helicopter pilots standing by their choppers just outside the compound. There were 8 state police troopers standing by their cars, watching in awestruck perplexity. And there was a group of ATF agents.
I say the Batman is under federal arrest, and I'm the top of the food chain here, boys. I've got questions about how he knew about all this, and how long he knew it, and what else he might be keeping from us. Then there's that plane. That thing's illegal. I'm gonna order him cuffed right now.
You arrest that man, and I'll howl to the press for the next 10 years.
Agent Grenoble stepped out of a National Guard armored vehicle, a bandage over his gouged eye socket.
You should be in a hospital, not shouting threats at administrators, Grenoble. Get to an ambulance. There's one waiting outside the gate, and leave this to us. In view of your injuries, I'll overlook the threat this once.
You can overlook the threat and shove it up your ass. That man saved our lives. More than once. That man is the one who got us here.
It's true.
Cormac got out of the vehicle behind him.
Without him, I'd be dead in the bottom of a mine shaft, which is something else you've got to look at. It's full of bodies.
Who the hell are you?
He works with me. He won 2 commendations in the Gotham PD.
Another guy with no authority and no sense of turf.
Let's talk about authority.
Another man was just getting out of a black Humvee, the door emblazoned with Department of Homeland Security. The newcomer was a stocky man with a round head, a seamed face, a trench coat, a bow tie over a white shirt, and a comb-over going astray in the damp wind.
Wickerson. You guys all of a sudden getting on the ball here?
Some of us always were.
Wickerson gestured toward Batman.
Justice Department, FBI, Department of Homeland Security have an interest in this man, whoever the hell he is.
Wickerson looked past Batman at his plane.
Where the bejesus did you get that thing? Is that a Harrier?
Close. I had it built.
Built by whom? With money from where?
Batman shook his head.
So that's the way it is it?
That's the way it is.
Batman was glancing around the compound, wondering if White Eyes could still be here, hiding in some bunker maybe, like Hitler in Berlin. White Eye's terrorist plans were too disrupted to carry out. But suppose, instead, that he'd gotten out of the area. Suppose he went on the offensive on his own. The hot-impact missiles could be catastrophic, even one of them. Wickerson turned to Gilman.
The perimeter secured here?
Yeah, it's secured. We got some men pulling in the injured ones, IDing the dead, up at that little playground of theirs. We got Professor Esperanza, but looking for him for 2 years.
You got him thanks to Batman.
Aaron Bunch got away?
Bunch?
That's the tentative ID we have for the man called White Eyes. Son of an international lawyer, Hiram Bunch. Used to work for Pinochet, and for, well...
He almost let go of something classified, it seemed to Batman.
Oh, yeah, Bunch. If Bunch is here, we haven't found him yet. First order of business is to tie down the loose cannons. And this refugee from Mardi Gras here, I want custody of him.
I heard. I'm inclined to let Gordon take custody of him for now. We have, we want a discussion with him later. We can have that in Gotham City. But Gordon's got to be responsible for getting him to that discussion.
He looked at Gordon. Gordon looked at Batman. Batman nodded.
He's in my custody. I'll get him there.
We'll let it stand there for now. There are bigger fish to fry. We gotta find these hot-impact weapons Gordon warned us about.
That could be a munitions bunker.
Batman pointed at the hump of concrete rising between 2 Quonset huts.
You aren't gonna actually let this guy call the shots!
He's right. We should check it out.
And you—
Come on, whoever's coming.
Wait a minute here.
Gordon stepped over to one of the prisoners, a skinny, pale, weak-chinned skinhead with a ring of interlaced iron crosses and Christian crosses tattooed like a tonsure around his head. Gordon grabbed him by the collar and dragged him to his feet.
That bunker wired to blow up on us.
Like I'm gonna tell you, you bastard.
You don't have to. You're going in first, and then we'll see what happens.
No, all right. There's a laser that machine head set up. You don't shut it off, you break the beam. Boom.
You know where to shut it off?
Yeah.
Then come on. You're going in first, so you better get this right. You show us exactly how to shut it off, or you get the scalp blown right off that little bald pinhead of yours. You got me.
The bunker went down 2 levels. The top one contained racks of the auto shotguns and centrifugal weapons. The lower section contained only a table of chemicals, mostly dried, in boxes. And, on a metal shelf affixed to the wall, a row of missile shells.
That them?
Batman stared at the man-pads, counting the shells twice.
That's 19 of them.
There was more. I get some consideration for helping you guys out, right?
We'll tell the judge. How many more?
He made 21. 21 finished. Esperanza fired one off this morning right here in the compound to test it. As far as I know, that leaves 20.
And one's missing. And so is White Eyes, isn't he?
Yeah. Left with Dell, down the main access. At least 40 minutes before you got here. Something else. Them shells ain't the same as the ones he used in the test. They got Ebola in them.
Dear God, are you sure?
Yeah. Open secret around here, dude. So, you think I can get minimum security?
Look here.
Gordon pulled a tarp off a table at the other end of the room. On the table was a scale model of a nuclear power plant.
That baby's up by New York City. Oh, my Lord.
We can ring it in with men. We can put them on alert in 2 minutes. He hasn't got time to get there yet. Those man-pads don't have all that much range. We can keep him out.
That's where he went.
You can see right there what his target is. We'll ring it in with men and choppers.
What about here? There's a hill. Now, if he were on this hill...
We'll secure that first thing.
What do you know about this power plant?
Nothing. I've never been down in this room, only upstairs. They were real closed-mouthed about it. And where's that kid guy?
What if White Eyes fires from the air?
We'll secure the airspace. God damn it, where's he gone? Gordon, you're supposed to have him under arrest.
Oh, damn. The Batman's escaped. Someone stop him. Oh, well. Too late.
You're right, Alfred. It's an airstrip, and there's a body here.
I'm gratified to know my satellite surveillance skills are improving, sir. I think we get a small plane from that position.
Alfred, repeat that. You're breaking up.
I said, sir, just after the cloud cover parted, we did get a small plane leaving from that position. But it flew under clouds again and apparently too low for radar. We haven't been able to hack into all the radar stations in the area, however.
What kind of plane?
A Piper Cub, sir. The number 533 was visible on the fuselage.
Piper Cub seems right. What heading?
I'm transmitting the precise heading to the bat plane, sir. Roughly the direction of the New York area.
Batman considered. Maybe he was going for the power plant then. But there were other targets within range of a Piper Cub.
Tell the authorities about the body here and the... Hold on.
The what, sir?
I found something else. A spotty trail of fuel. This man's shotgun was fired. I suspect he damaged the plane's fuel tank. Just how much did it leak out under? Alfred, the feds have New York covered. I just remembered reading something. There's another target. If I'm right, that's where he's going. I just hope I can make up the time we've lost.
Cormac waved to Grenoble, who lifted a hand from the gurney in the back of the ambulance. His face and upper body were heavily bandaged. There was no replacing the eye. But as Grenoble had observed, he'd ended up a hell of a lot better off than his partner. Cormac turned to Beth and Gary. They walked together across the sodden compound, past the sullen, squatting prisoners and the National Guardsmen, and toward the black sedan waiting outside the gate.
Do I have to get in that car with those cops?
There a warrant on you?
No, sir, there isn't.
Don't worry about it. I'll get you where you want to go.
She doesn't have any place to go. I mean, she really doesn't have any place to go.
Cormac looked at Beth. She reached out and tentatively took Gary's hand.
I was hoping to stay with Gary. I mean, near Gary. My only friends are... One killed herself and the other's in juvie. I got an auntie somewhere. Maybe she'd take me.
Gary looked at her hand in his, and put his other hand over it too.
I want you to stay with me. If my dad says it's okay, but...
What?
you were sort of hinting. I mean, I'm not...
What?
I could use a best friend, that's all.
Okay. I know I'm kind of white trashy or something.
No. See...
Gary glanced nervously around. The three of them were about 30 paces from the sedan. No one was standing near them.
I feel like... Dad, I want to tell you. I'm sorry I ran off. It was stupid. I was just mad. And sort of embarrassed about where you found me.
It's okay. I'm just glad we got through all this. You made me feel like you really handled yourself well. I was thinking maybe you could come into the family business with me when you're ready.
What, be a bounty hunter?
I was thinking of starting my own security company. Skip tracing, private cops, detection, the whole shebang. If I can raise the money.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be... Yeah. I mean, I'd try it. But, Dad, I'm not... I mean, I'm not what you...
Oh, I get it now. Why didn't you say so?
Cormac looked at Beth, and then back at Gary.
What? Somebody tell me, for Christ's sakes.
Mr. Sullivan, Gary's gay.
Gary looked at her, opened his mouth to deny it, then closed it again. He shrugged and looked toward his dad's stunned face, then turned away, hunching toward the sedan.
Gary, wait!
Gary stopped, but he didn't turn back.
Gary, is that true? That's what you've been trying to tell me all this time?
Gary nodded.
Are you sure? Like it's been there all your life?
Gary closed his eyes and grimaced, but he nodded again.
Was that all? Jesus, boy, I don't care. Some people like Italian food, some people like Greek. Who the hell cares?
Really?
But why didn't you tell me, boy?
Because you're so macho and tough and... I don't know, I just thought you'd think it was all...
Gary, you remember Murchison, who was in the Special Forces with me? Worked with me on some of the tougher skip traces?
Yeah? That big guy with the scars came to the barbecues a couple of times?
Yeah, good buddy of mine. Gary, Murch is as gay as they come.
What? That guy? But he's so...
He's tough as nails. Lots of gay guys are. And I wouldn't have cared if you were tough or not, boy. You're my son. Long as you stay off drugs, use condoms, and learn a trade, any honest trade, I'm happy. You're my son. And I love you.
Even though it was true, it was hard to get that I love you stuff out. Cormac was male, after all.
That's all. That's just all there is to it.
What about Beth? Can we keep her?
What, like she's a pet?
Like she's a sister, Dad.
Yeah? You vouch for her? She'd make a good sister for you?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What a tender endorsement. Well, Beth, Gary vouches for you. You can stay with us as long as you want, but you've got to follow my rules. Both of you.
Gary nodded gravely at his father. A wordless nod, a look in Gary's eyes. But Cormac knew it meant that Gary was committed to a new way of life. They had almost died, fighting side by side, and somehow that had destroyed the barriers between them. Now they both understood what really mattered.
I'd like to try it, Mr. Sullivan.
Call me Cormac.
He put his arms around both of them.
Come on, let's get dry and get something to eat.
Sleet fell over the small airstrip, glossed the half a dozen small craft parked there, and slashed from the wipers of the dark green SUV driving up to White Eye's Piper Cub. The Explorer pulled up, and Jensen and Hesa Kolna got out. Jensen was a barrel-chested Swede in a windbreaker, his hood up, and Hesa Kolna was a stocky Serbian with heavy eyebrows, in watch cap and overcoat. Another vehicle was coming up the access road, a blue minivan. It picked up a man getting out of a small plane.
Who is that?
I don't know. Not one of ours. Did you have to come in that vehicle?
Why not?
I told you on the radio it was an emergency. Protocol in an emergency is to change vehicles as they may have our standard vehicles watched. No time to get another.
Jensen was looking at the Piper Cub.
What did this? Shotgun? Oh, you're leaking here.
Why do you think I stopped here, idiot? If this airstrip hadn't been here, I'd have had to land on the freeway. We might just make it, though, driving down there, but not in that vehicle. They're looking for us.
White Eyes was staring speculatively at the blue minivan as it drove near and stopped. A man opened the passenger side window, a black man about 30 with short hair and glasses. With him was a white woman, a blonde, her hair tied back. There was a boy in the back seat.
This is a private airstrip. Only people who work for Baltimore Computer can use it.
You just fly in, did you? Your wife came to pick you up? How convenient.
George, let's just go, quick!
The man looked at them, then nodded. The woman started to put the minivan in reverse. White Eyes nodded to Jensen, who stepped up to the open window and pressed a .45 to the man's temple.
Now you turn the car off, lady, or he dies. Get in back. We take this vehicle. You are going to ride with us.
They'll make splendid hostages. Go get the goods from the plane.
Batman had pulled up his plane in midair, was hovering in vertical takeoff and landing mode about 200 feet over the mall behind the U.S. Capitol. But bringing the Batplane into Washington, D.C. airspace had been tricky. He'd had to elude D.C. police choppers twice, and he could see a small formation of planes approaching on the radar. Fast.
Alfred, did you get Gordon on the line?
Yes, sir. Just a few moments ago. I believe he is now engaged in alerting the authorities.
The problem is, the authorities are after me now. I'm in an unknown plane near the Capitol. I've got 4 interceptors on the way here. I'm getting warnings. But that looks like White Eyes getting out of a van. A small blue van.
A van, sir?
He made it to the outskirts of town and ran out of fuel. Must have got one of his local scumbags to pick him up. Any word on security alert for the Capitol?
All this time, Batman had been moving the plane into position, angling to get between White Eyes and the Capitol.
Not so far, sir. Is Congress in session?
Not exactly. I remembered reading about a ceremony on the 2nd floor in the rotunda. Half the Senate and the most powerful congressman from the House. And the president and the vice president. A statue unveiling. We've got to get the word out. Get them out of there. Otherwise...
Captain Gordon is trying to get the federal authorities to listen, sir, but...
That was White Eyes down there, all right. There were police cars racing toward them, and 2 of White Eyes' men were firing at the police as their leader pulled what was obviously the case for the Manpads launcher out of the back of the van. He was within range to hit the Capitol Rotunda. If he hadn't been delayed by that leak in his fuel tank, it'd all be over by now. It might still be too late. The hot impact weapon would penetrate the rotunda and explode inside with an enormous charge. Most of the U.S. government wiped out in an instant. There was security all around the Capitol, but White Eyes was outside their perimeter. Batman landed his plane on the mall in front of the reflecting pool, right between White Eyes' group and the Capitol building. But the Batplane simply wasn't large enough to act as an effective shield. Batman jumped out and stopped dead, seeing the 3 people whom White Eyes and his men had pulled from the van. The van didn't belong to the Brotherhood. They'd hijacked it.
On your knees!
There was a young boy and his parents, a black man, a white woman. White Eyes was making them kneel in front of him. The 2 parents were about the same age as Bruce Wayne's had been, and the boy was about the age Bruce had been. That night, outside the theater. The militiamen pointed their guns at the couple, and White Eyes turned to the oncoming cops.
You men get any closer, I'll kill them!
The police pulled up short. Batman could see them arguing furiously. White Eyes picked up the missile launcher.
Sir, they're escorting the president and the congressional leaders out, but they're still in the rotunda. It'll take time to get them clear.
Now White Eyes was aiming the launcher, and Batman walked forward.
Stay back, demon, or I kill them.
He was only about 30 feet away now. Batman had a batarang in each hand, but they were going to kill them, right in front of the boy. Shadows fell over the group on the Capitol grounds. Federal choppers clustered overhead, moving into position. They were going to be too late. The shadow over the people on the lawn seemed to take on thickness, a new outline. It writhed into a shape, the shape of a dark figure, a cowled figure, in a loosely sewn costume. Batman froze. Every time he'd seen it, he'd made a mistake. But he couldn't afford to make a mistake here. There was no room for error in this situation. But people died around him, like his family. This was death. It would take him over if he let it. He had to stay away from it. It was everything dark in him, and it wanted to own him. Batman knew he had to make his move. And Taya had told him what to do.
You are subordinate to me. I command you. You don't command me. I take you into me where you belong.
And Batman moved faster than he'd ever moved in his life. Sprinting as he threw, he leapt through the image of the shadow creature, leapt into it, through it, and embraced it all at once. The Batarang smacked into both gunmen, cracking their gun hands so that their shots went wild. Batman hurtled through the air right at the launcher's muzzle and shoved the barrel down with both fists, tilting it sharply at the ground. The missile sizzled into the earth, burning downward as the impact of Batman's lunge drove White Eyes to the ground. With infinite agility, Batman used his grip on the launcher to vault over him, spinning in mid-air to unleash twin shuriken into both of the stunned gunmen's trigger hands. Just as the missile exploded well underground, its toxic substance absorbed by the clay strata under the city. It had all happened in mere seconds. White Eye's men stood aghast for a moment, then made a move for their fallen weapons. Stirred to action at last, the police moved in as the young couple fled for safety, pushing their son ahead of them. White Eyes grabbed Batman's feet and twisted, rolling to try and get the Dark Knight under him. Batman hammered White Eyes hard on the sides of his head, both fists at once. It loosened his grip, and Batman rolled free. He felt good, strangely good, like everything was in place inside him. Somehow, confronting the shadow, seeing it for what it was, making it a part of him, subordinate to his will, had unified him. Batman was in the pocket. The cops were busy with the other militiamen. White Eyes was Batman's responsibility. And Big White was already up in a crouch, charging in psychotic fury. Batman set himself and then jumped to one side. He struck with his bunched fingers, using a variant of the Gunting, the scissor move that Taya had shown him, on a nerve cluster in White Eye's right arm. Batman spun around as his adversary turned toward him, but Big White looked even paler than usual. His right arm was hanging limply. Batman sidestepped White Eye's left hook, then struck another nerve cluster under that arm. And now White Eye's left arm hung limply.
Steroids aren't enough, Bunch. Bulk means so much less than skill. And you are just dead weight.
Batman cuffed the unconscious man, turned, and walked calmly back to the Batplane.
Hey, you! You can't just walk away from here! Get back here! You don't have the authorization to bring that plane in here! What the hell do you think you're doing?
Batman turned.
In the absence of leadership, the people do what they have to.
And he vaulted onto the Batplane's wing, jumped onto the spine of the craft, and dropped into the cockpit.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Pardon me.
I'm sorry, sir. Ticketed passengers only beyond this point.
Bruce?
Bruce Wayne turned to see Taya staring up at him. She was wearing yellow shorts and small white tennis shoes and a simple white top, and her hair was tied back. She had a large purse with little mirrors sewn into its bright primary colors, which she'd bought at an outdoor market in Nepal. He'd been there a few years before when she picked it out.
I remember that purse.
Do you remember my name?
Hello, Taya.
How did you know exactly when my flight was?
I made some inquiries. I'm sorry if it's spying.
It's kind of sweet, really. You're going to so much trouble.
since it's you. But here you've caught me looking shabby. I'm not dressed to see you.
You always look great. No luggage?
I checked it, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. So, before your flight, could we have a cup of tea, or do you really have to go at all?
I wish you'd asked me that 2 days ago.
There was something I had to do.
Skiing?
No, something I really had to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
Taya glanced at a clock on the wall and took the ticket folder out of her purse.
I've got to go, though.
I could buy a ticket of some kind, so I could come upstairs with you.
That's tempting. And I guess that wouldn't hurt your pocketbook much. But my plane is so soon, it wouldn't be worth it. This is... kind of painful for me already.
You sure you have to go? Maybe I'll think of a way.
A way to what?
I can't really talk about it right now. But if you'll stay a while, then in time...
I can't, Bruce. I have accepted a volunteer position helping refugees from Tibet. They're running from the communists. They're in a bad way. I have made an obligation.
I wish I could come, but I have an obligation too.
I know you do. I don't know what it is, Bruce. I know it's something important, and it's something you can't tell me about, or you think you can't. So, it's all right. Bruce, that thing that was bothering you, the shape you saw, did you meet your mountain ghost? Did you learn anything about it?
I did. There was something in me I was afraid I couldn't control, and maybe it did have a life of its own. It seemed a magnet for other kinds of darkness.
What did you do about it, Bruce?
I saw it for what it was. I took command of it, put it where it belonged. It's part of me.
I thought it was something like that. Bruce, I have to go.
Will you be in touch somehow?
Somehow.
It was Taya who drew away. She touched his face, then turned away without a word and went up the escalator, never looking back. He could go after her. He could take the next flight. He could find her. Maybe he should. Maybe he'd fulfilled his obligation. Bruce had a sensation then, as if someone, some ghostly presence, were tapping him on the shoulder. He turned. No one was there except strangers hurrying by, toting their luggage. But he saw what he was supposed to see. He could see it through those high glass walls, projected by a searchlight onto the gray clouds. The shape of a bat.
You think this guy's gonna show up?
Wickerson shivered in the biting wind on the roof of the Gotham PD headquarters, gazing out over the nighttime glimmer of Gotham City. A grounded constellation against a field of grimy black.
Fairly sure, since he's standing right behind you.
You gentlemen wanted to speak to me?
Yeah. Why it had to be out here, I don't know. We couldn't meet in a conference room somewhere. Right. I've got an appointment here. We just need a name on the blank line there where it says name of appointee.
What kind of appointment?
Gordon shielded his pipe with a hand as he lit it.
In recognition of what he accomplished at the Capitol, that man is being offered an appointment as a U.S. Marshal. And we figure you can deputize him here in town, too. Make him legal from the ground up. The word will go out so he can do his job without having to run from the police while he's running after the bad guys.
A name on a blank line?
Batman looked at the appointment papers in Wickerson's proffered hand, but didn't take them.
Your real name. It'll be kept confidential, just like we do with CIA agents.
Sorry.
Look, this is a major honor.
I know, but no names.
Look, Wickerson. Ah, damn it, this wind. Can't keep this pipe lit. He's shown he can be effective and trustworthy without our knowing who he is. Let's try it that way. If we get Batman impersonators, whatever it is you're worried about, we can rethink it. For now, let's just trust him.
It's not as if we don't have a clue who he is.
Batman watched Wickerson, waiting.
He's got to be wealthy. Very. Only a few men wealthy enough and resourceful enough. Now, we think we have it narrowed down to a few billionaires. Someone with unusual athletic ability, or at least high-tech know-how.
Sure. I got bored running Microsoft.
Gordon stared. A joke? From Batman?
No, you're not him. Too spindly, too old. But I've got a list here.
He found another piece of paper in his pocket and passed it to Batman.
If we know anyway.
There's a lot of names here.
Batman shook his head. He passed the list to Gordon.
And these three on top. Steve Young, John Giantoli, Bruce Wayne? Come on. One's a Mormon retiree. Giantoli and Wayne are playboys who party day and night. You're barking up the wrong tree, Wickerson.
I just thought I'd see if anyone blurted, okay, you got me. All right. I'll put my tail on the line here. I'll go to the president. He owes you after all, and we'll see. My guess is they'll do it your way. For a while.
Batman nodded. Just once. Then he turned to Gordon.
What about Burkhart and Breen?
It's frustrating. We need someone to testify against them. The brethren we got weren't interfacing with them. There are still some at large.
I'll look into it.
Batman reached over and flicked the switch on the bat signal so it suddenly went out, and the rooftop was abruptly darker. Wickerson and Gordon blinked, looking at the dark searchlight, and then looked back at the place where Batman had been standing a moment before.
Son of a... You ever get used to that?
Never quite do. You drink whiskey?
Vodka?
I'm buying.
Striding along in the narrow alley in Gotham City's Chinatown, Red Trask was feeling almost cocky. It was a cold night, but it was good and dark. He had a score lined up, he had his gun in his pocket, and there wasn't a cop in sight. He had given Batman the slip a couple of times, and the federal dragnet for the Bavarian Brethren had overlooked him entirely. No one had seen Batman for a couple of days. White Eyes was in federal lockup, Esperanza was shipped out to Guantanamo, but Red Trask was walking along the street, free as a bird. He didn't have to worry about the cops either. He had met with Breen and Burkhart, had promised them 20% of everything. He'd get a steak tonight, buy the crystal, start dealing boof down on the west side. What was 20% with those guys protecting him? It was worth it. The money would roll in. Life was going to be sweet. Up ahead was the place he was looking for. One of those Chinese medicine dumps with the weird little roots and herbs. There was a neon sign and a Chinese ideogram over the shop. Word from a junkie pal of Trask's was that Gong kept a big stash of cash in the back of that shop. He didn't trust banks. Trask got a funny, prickly feeling on the back of his neck and glanced up.
Is that a bat flying around? Here? In this alley? No. Sure looked like a bat, though. Whew.
Trask had pretty much convinced himself that destiny was going to keep him out of Batman's black-gloved hands. He wasn't going to let the bat take him, no matter what. He'd die fighting first, because the bat would give him to the cops, and the cops would put him in state pen. And the worst moments of Trask's life had been in state pen. He'd thought his childhood was pretty bad. Not compared with Cell Block 11, it wasn't. Only joining the Aryans had saved his life. And nowadays they tried to break you up, put you someplace your gang wasn't. Which meant that he'd be prey for whoever was running the place. The sign in the window of Gong said closed. The door was locked, but he could see the old guy moving around in there. That flimsy door wouldn't keep Trask out. Gun in hand, he set himself to break down the door.
Not tonight, Red.
Oh no. Please, God, not him.
You weren't enough of a priority before. I didn't have time to hunt you down. But things are quieter now. I'm going to make you my hobby, Trask.
No!
The only thing Trask hit was the window of an empty shop across the narrow street.
Where are you, damn it? Where are you?
Here, Trask.
And the bat he'd seen earlier fluttered down into view again. It flew back up into the shadows.
You see, Red, I'm going to be watching you day or night from now on.
Unless you want to cooperate with me. Just a little time in prison, Trask. You'll do the time and start fresh.
No!
There, the Bat's shadow, falling over him from above. It was him!
I see. Oh!
Trask fumbled in his pocket for his extra clip, tried to get it into the gun as he ran. He dropped it.
Oh, no!
Had to scramble on his hands and knees to find it.
I won't go!
We can put you in that bank, Trask. We have a supply of fresh punks in custody who will testify against you. You want it to be a short stretch, Trask? You better be willing to talk. I've been watching you. I saw you with Easy Molly last night on Simpson Street. And I saw you talking to Breen and Burkhardt in Coon's Deli this afternoon. Making a deal with them. You can give them to me, Trask.
No!
That gun is a parole violation, Trask. We'll protect you from Burkhardt and Breen. But you've got to give them to us.
No!
Trask ran blindly to the cross street and out into traffic. A truck nearly ran him down, but he made it across the street and into another labyrinth of alleys, his heart hammering in his chest. He turned right, turned left.
I'm losing the bat again. I'm doing it. I'm getting away. I'll never let him put me in jail. Never going back to that hell. I'd rather die. I'd rather... Oh... No!
It was a dead end, a blind alley. He turned. The Bat hunched on the railing of a fire escape, 1 story above him. His cape drooping down, his spiky cowl almost lost in the shadows. His eyes gleaming down at Trask, full of dark promise.
Trask. Red Trask. I'll never let you alone. Never. I'll always be there, Trask. Unless you testify against them. Give them to me, and I'll give you your life back.
No. It's hell in there. I won't let you take me there.
The DA will take your testimony into account. You'll get through it.
No.
Oh, yes, Trask. You testify, or you're mine.
Then Trask went to his knees, putting his hands behind him, his wrists together, and waited for the Bat to take him to hell. This has been a graphic audio production of DC Comics' Batman Dead White by John Shirley. Copyright 2009 by DC Comics, all rights reserved. Batman and all related names, characters, and elements are trademarks of DC Comics. Copyright 2009 DC Comics. Batman, created by Bob Kane. Production copyright 2009 The Cutting Corporation, all rights reserved. With performances by Richard Rowan as Batman, Thomas Penny as Cormac Sullivan, James Konachek as Jim Gordon, Scott McCormick as White Eyes, Terrence Aselford as Alfred Pennyworth, Colleen Delaney as Taya, James Lewis as Bill Grenoble, Eric Messner as Del Durbinski, Danny Gavigan as ATF Agent Eggerson, Stephen Carpenter as Dr. Esperanza, Bruce Allen Rauscher as Red Trask, David Coyne as Lance Gilman, Casey Platt as Beth, Chris Rowan as Gary Sullivan, Andy Clements as Skeeve Skevin, Tim Getman as Sergeant Breen, Nanette Savard as Rose, Christopher Graybill as Spud, Ken Jackson as Harold, Michael John Casey as Officer Van Wyman, Dylan Lynch as Lieutenant Burkhardt, Michael Raplogle as Mudflap, Tony Nam as Professor Q, with Joe Brack, Jonathan Watkins, Michael Glenn, Lily Beacon, Elizabeth Jernigan, Margie Tompros, Johann Detweiler, and Mort Shelby as Agent Wickerson. Directed and adapted for graphic audio by Richard Rowan. Produced by Rick Rowan and Dwayne Beeman. Executive producers James Cutting, Mary Cutting, and Angie Cornett. Dialogue editing and graphic audio sound design by Brian Patton, Nathaniel Perry, and Chris Rowan. The Batman theme was composed by Dan Smith. Additional original music by Dan Smith, Nathaniel Perry, and Brian Patton. If you enjoyed Batman Dead White, be sure to look for our other graphic audio DC Comics titles, including Batman the Stone King, available at road stops everywhere, at 1-800-670-5220 or at www.graphicaudio.net.
If you can't find that graphic audio title you're looking for, go to www.graphicaudio.net, where you can order it in CD format or digital download. If you're on the road, call 1-800-670-5220. That's 1-800-670-5220 or www.graphicaudio.net.